Hey guys, welcome to BP, the Bible Perspective. Should black people want, desire, crave for white people to have compassion on them? For white people to feel their pain? Let's unpack this. Now before we do, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. You know, in dealing with on Facebook certain comments, in fact, one of the reasons I even got involved in Facebook the way I do was because of my surprise at the lack of empathy, the lack of compassion, and the outright racism of certain right Christians. And this was, of course, now over years, and I engage their thought, and it's still astounding that out of all of the statement, what lingers behind, for example, when white people say black people should get over it, and they oftentimes say to me that, slavery is over 160 years old, and Jim Crow, 60. One guy actually had said that, probably not realizing what he was saying. Usually it's slavery ended 160 years ago. Some even say 200 years ago. And others say ancient history. Why are we bringing this up? Ancient history. So these are certain white people who are saying that. Right? So what's lingering behind all of that is the callousness that you dismiss the experience of people who were wrong. Some of the other defense is, well, black people sold, their fellow Africans into slavery. Now, that's true, however, but don't you still indict the culture? Why did white people who had a superior race, a superior religion, buy them? I'll jump ahead a little bit. But my point is, what lingers behind that is this sort of resentment, this latent racism, that we're tired of black people complaining. But what's behind that is the lack of empathy and compassion. By the way, I'm speaking to mostly Christians. Here are some things to consider. Let me first say that what I am saying is that I am not speaking about all white people. And I'm going to make that clear. The reason why I say that is because I've been accused, and it's more of it's trying to muddy the waters, because people say, well, Lynn, you say all white people are bad, and Lynn, you say all white people are this, and you hate all white people. If you follow my Facebook posts, you will see some of these these discourses, and they say that. Well, let me first say this. I am not talking about all white people. There have always been, just like there is now and currently, people of all backgrounds, right, who have saw evil for what it is. They did not stand for it. They did not stand with it. They did not defend it. They fought against it, always, from beginning to end. There were white people who fought against slavery. There were white people who fought against Jim Crow. All right. So with that said, now consider this. What kind of people would travel the Atlantic to buy humans that they would say God created, then bring them to a nation, right? These same humans that they believe God created, bring them to this nation that they say is a nation under God. That is a nation that we believe all men are created equal and endowed with rights by their creator. Why would they buy and sell humans? Why would they torture, whip, rape, right? Work to death? Why would they buy and sell their own slave, ripping them from babies from their mothers, children, brothers, sisters, mothers and fathers? Just sell them off. Just sell them off. If you got a family of pigs and you sell one off, you don't care about the emotions. But they did slaves the same way. How about when master would creep down? Think about this. When master would creep down into the slave quarters and take his pick of his slaves, who were also sisters, mothers, wives. He would do it. He wouldn't do it indiscreetly. He did it boldly, and there was nothing the men could do about it. What kind of people are that? What kind of people invent a science that says that black people are inferior, that they're not equal emotionally, intellectually, and even physically? Remember, for years, up until the 40s, I believe, there was this belief that the white man was physically superior. Of course, they wouldn't allow certain blacks to compete. But what kind of people invent a science with no facts, right? So, what kind of people would invent a religion that says God wants the separation of the races? It is God's will. In some cases, there are some people that said God cursed the black people with dark skin and slavery. What kind of people passes laws to keep said people oppressed? Now, here's my thing. Do I want compassion from that kind of person? Better question is, should I even expect compassion from that kind of person? But how about this? What kind of person that can witness that day in and day out, years on, generationally? Uncle Silas takes his little children or nieces up, and as they're driving up the farm of the plantation, they see the pickaninnies working the fields and stuff. When they come to, the little slaves run up and take their coats, take their coats, help them out of the, help them out of the carriages and stuff, and take their coats, fetch them water or whatever. What kind of people comfortably sit around that while that exists, and say nothing and do nothing, but of course they're participating in there? Should I expect compassion from that kind of person who could do that? How about in the Jim Crow era, when they passed laws to, even after slavery, to now still continue to restrict freedoms from African Americans? Should I expect compassion from those kind of people? How about our dearly beloved evangelical Christians, who themselves were knee deep in Jim Crow? There were denominations that I could not, be a part of, churches I couldn't attend, colleges, Christian colleges that I couldn't attend. Should I expect them to feel my pain? Should I expect them to have compassion on me? See, one of the problems, I think, especially with black people, is that we want apologies. We want, we want them to reach out and say, hey, do you understand? Look at all the shootings that's going on. We want people to say, hey, acknowledge us. But sometimes we're asking this from the wrong people. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of good, God-fearing people who will stand with us, who will reach out to us in the love and with the love that God demonstrated when He gave His Son. Seek those people, but don't seek compassion from those that are incapable of having compassion. Let me say this one other thing. We oftentimes and it should be, we don't know the depths of the damage, the trauma that slavery and Jim Crow did. Remember, this is 400 years of continual trauma. I mentioned earlier that the one guy who responded that, Jim Crow ended 60 years ago, but he never talks about the trauma. He never talks about the trauma that was inflicted. Let me also say this. That kind of person that I just described, they were damaged too. They were damaged to think that they were superior. They were damaged in their minds and emotions to think that what they were doing wasn't wrong. That's why I said, that kind of person, I am not asking for compassion, nor am I looking for it. Look, that's my perspective. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. Till next time, I'll see you then.